to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, you are listening to episode 118, Leveraging Your Network Part 1, Who to Connect With. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. How are you doing? I am so glad that you have joined me today. We're rolling right along and wrapping up the month of March here. I've got so many more great shows planned for you. I was just doing some more podcast planning and thinking about more topics. So I'm really, really excited. More shows are coming and I'm doing something kind of different today. I haven't done a series in a while and I got inspired kind of at the last minute to break this show into two parts. So this is a little bit of a meatier topic and this is really cutting into just the heart of the job search process and what I coach clients on, which is learning the right job search strategy. And a big part of that is how to identify and leverage your network, which is one of the biggest pieces of my coaching and one of the biggest pain points, I guess, or obstacles for some of the people that I work with. So you're going to get an inside peek here to the cornerstone of my coaching, and there's going to be a lot of takeaways from this episode and the next that are going to work together. So make sure to listen to both of them. And the second one will be coming out early April. So I do in-depth work, as I said, with clients on how to identify who is in their network and leverage those relationships and build them and nurture them over time. I also teach people how to make new connections as well. All of this is part of a successful job search, and it's one of the most challenging parts. Some people may be shy or introverted, or they just don't feel comfortable reaching out to people. Other people maybe just don't know how. They don't mind doing that. They just want to make sure that they have the right approach. Other people have kind of bought into that idea that, you're being pushy or begging or asking for a favor or whatever it might be. And we have got to get that mindset out because that is the biggest obstacle. So what I'm going to do, like I said, is a series. We're going to break this into two parts. Part 1 today is going to be about how to identify who is in your network that you want to reach out to and start conversations with them. Part 2 is going to be more in depth about what you're going to ask and say in those conversations and how to actually get referred for your next position, which we all know is the best way to get hired if you can. So because I work with a lot of mid and late career professionals who are already experienced, I do work with a lot of people who say, I've never needed a resume. I've always been referred for my role or gotten it through somebody that I know recommending me. And I love to hear that. It's just further proof that people get people jobs at the end of the day, even still in the digital world. People get people jobs. But that isn't the case for everyone. Or even if somebody feels like they have a solid network, they may not know how to approach the conversation and how to make it work for them. So if this sounds like something that you've never really been able to do or maximize on, but would like to learn how to do, then listen up. These next 2 episodes are for you. Okay, let's dig in. So you've probably heard the phrase, your network is your net worth. I think this is really cool. And it's very true when it comes to your career. So I'll be honest too, I never used to believe in networking in my early career when I was job searching in my 20s. Before I became a career coach, I had no idea how these people were getting jobs by networking, probably because I was young and I just didn't really feel like I had a good network and I didn't know how to leverage it. But I kept hearing how great it was. and how it was the key to landing your dream job and all these things. And it sounded great, but I really had no idea what people were talking about. And I didn't bother to try. And I just applied for jobs online. So it was something that was great for everyone but me. But fast forward a few years and starting one business later, now I get it. I really get it. And if you don't believe in networking, it's probably just because you don't understand it and haven't been taught what it really is. You've been sold this idea that it's about going out to events or passing out business cards, shaking a few hands, faking some smiles, whatever, and hoping that somebody will give you an interview. I don't know about you, but I am so over that definition of networking. Not only is it uncomfortable, but it's completely ineffective and inaccurate. Effective networking is genuine, it's enjoyable, and it's ongoing. It is not a one-time event. It is not schmoozing. It's about building relationships with people that you actually like and maintaining that over time. Job leads that come from networking nearly always come from connections that you already had, not the new ones that you just made last week. It does happen sometimes that new connections that you just met on LinkedIn or at an event could help produce a lead for you, but more often than not, it's the people that already know you, like you, and trust you that are going to help you out. Wouldn't that be the case for you if the tables were turned? You would be more likely to help somebody that you already knew. So if you haven't been working on this, start now. Start today by getting back in touch with some people that you used to know. Show genuine interest in them and keep the relationship going. And remember that your network is not just your professional connections. It's everyone that you know at school, church, your neighbors, the PTA, whatever you're involved in. Think big, people. You know a lot more people than you think. All right. So let's take a quick commercial break. When we get back, I've got specific action items that you can implement right now. These are the exact action items that I share with my coaching clients, so you will know exactly who you're reaching out to and how. All right. So stay tuned. There's plenty more coming right back. Hey everyone, while the show takes a quick break, I want to tell you about 2 ways that you can get help in your career for free. First, you can sign up for my mailing list and be a part of my community. I offer in-depth resources and solutions for your career problems. I have a free gift waiting for you when you sign up. Head over to careeruprising.com/signup and join my community today. Then join my LinkedIn group called Career Uprising Premium Online Community. It's growing every day, and you can interact with me and ask questions about your own situation. Just open up LinkedIn now and search for Career Uprising Premium Online Community. And I can't wait to connect with you. Let's get back to the show. All right, so we're back. Let's dig into how you can implement some of this and get started, because I know it's not enough for me to just tell you, okay, go reach out to people in your network, because you're going to go, okay, great. Thanks, Lorraine. How do I do that? What do I say? Well, we're getting there. Okay. So step 1 is to make a target contact list. I want you to go through your LinkedIn, your phone, your email contacts, think both personal and professional, and come up with a list of at least 10 to 15 people that you know well. Maybe they've worked with you in a professional sense. That's probably ideal, but don't limit yourself to that. The goal here is to just identify who are the strongest connections that you have in your network and start conversations with them. Share with them that you're in a job search and what you're looking for. And I'm going to give you a specific strategy for what to say. So we're going to get to that. And we're actually going to go into even more in depth about that in the next episode as well. So I'm going to make you listen to 2 shows. But first, I want you to look through your connections and see who is even in your network. That's the first thing. We have to know who is in our network. Where do they work? What do they do? Who do they know? So it doesn't matter what we say if we don't even know who we're connected with in the first place. All right. And you'd be surprised when you really look through that you may have connections at companies that you are interested in and you didn't even know it. Maybe you just haven't talked to that person in 6 months, or maybe you just forgot where they worked, right? I mean, if the average person probably knows hundreds and hundreds of people, you can't keep track of all that in your head. That's one nice thing about LinkedIn is it's kind of, if you put all of your connections there, you've got them all in one place and it's easily tracked and searchable. So step one is to make sure you are up to date and knowledgeable about who you are connected with and put it on a list on a spreadsheet somewhere. Come up with at least 10 to 15 really good connections, people that you probably would feel comfortable reaching out to right now. Okay, this is kind of your low-hanging fruit. This is to help you build your confidence. I want you to start with the easiest ones that you know the best. Step two, then you're going to make a target company list. Most people that I work with do have a few companies in mind that they have always wanted to work for. Sometimes they're big names like Google or Facebook, but sometimes they're smaller companies that might be well known within their industry. So even if you don't know anything off the top of your head, I bet if you take a few minutes, there are a few companies that you maybe have admired or been curious about, or that you know are big players and relevant within your line of work. So even if you can only come up with 5 or 6, that's fine. Just start there and build it out slowly. Ideally, I'd love to see you get up to 25 or so. It might seem strange to think about working at a company first rather than a specific job, but you need to let go of that mindset. It's too limiting. There are so many more jobs out there than what you see online, far more. So it makes sense to target not only specific jobs, but also companies that you might like to work for or that have a good reputation or have a lot of job openings. Plus, we want to be thoughtful anyway about where we work and do some research and make sure that we are a good cultural fit. So again, it makes sense then to target specific companies for that reason. So we're making a list of our top connections and our top companies of interest. So now for those of you who might really be thinking, you might be able to guess what's going to happen next. Next, we're going to look at where these two lists intersect. Okay. So meaning I want you to look at these companies on your list and do a quick search, probably on LinkedIn, to see if you know anyone who works at these companies on your target list. So basically, do your target contacts have any overlap into these target companies? That's a great first place to start in your job search. It always makes sense to target companies where you have a connection, provided it's somewhere that you want to work. That is a great strategy in a job search. It increases your chances of being referred. All right, so we are looking for the intersection of our network and the companies that we are interested in. That's why we have to make a list of both. So even if you only find 1 or 2 people who who work at a company that you're interested in, that is still a good starting point. Start there and then work outward. You always want to focus, which like I just said, your search on where you have the best connections, okay? So if we focus our attention that way, we're being thoughtful, we're being strategic, and we're increasing our chances of a referral. It doesn't limit us to just that. It just means that's where we're going to start our search. All right. So we've come to the end of part 1, which is a little bit more high level. We are going to get really specific. And in part 2, I'm going to give you a great framework for how to structure these conversations. So once we know who we're going to reach out to and what companies we want to work at, we got to know what to say. What's our messaging? What is the dialogue? What questions are we going to ask these people? I'm going to spill the beans and reveal all of that to you guys with specific examples and dialogue in the next show. All right. So you're going to love this framework. My clients go nuts over it. I'm serious. It really, really makes it much more comfortable to network and in a way that doesn't feel like slimy or something like that. So it's going to be a juicy episode next time in part 2. I can't wait. All right. So for more shows like this, the easiest way to listen is to go to my website, careeruprising.com/podcast. They're all there. You don't need an account. It's free. And I very much appreciate it. So I will talk to you guys soon in part 2. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show was brought to you by inflowradio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.